Sometimes, even before the first votes have been cast, reporters create two parallel universes. Frontrunners and everyone else, the also-rans. Different access, different questions, different treatment.
Let me quickly ask you, I'm sure you don't want to get into who won, who lost, but who do you think won on the stage last night?
Assessments based on polls.
Let me talk to you about the topic of the day and get your take on why you think at this point Newt Gingrich is doing so well.
People are trying to figure out how you're going to really break out because you are at the moment at the bottom of the pack.
And yet in poll after poll, what we're seeing here is that members of the Tea Party, which I think you would agree are the most conservative element of the Republican Party, overwhelmingly are supporting Newt Gingrich at this point.
So then how do you explain the phenomenal rise of Newt Gingrich? You say people don't have trust, and yet he does seem to be speaking, at least to Republican voters, in a way that you aren't, for instance.
Questions that assume the also-rans will lose.
If you don't prevail in Iowa or don't prevail to get the nomination, will you endorse?
If it is Newt Gingrich, will he get your endorsement?
If it came down to it, could you see yourself supporting either one of these men if they got the nomination?
Strategy questions about the presumed frontrunners.
Did Newt Gingrich do anything to diminish his chances in Iowa last night?
Let me ask you this question about the other half of Newt Romney, and that is Mitt Romney. Why do you think he is having such a problem?
A political death watch.
Given how important New Hampshire is to you, staying in the race, tell me honestly where you have to come in order to stay in the race.
And I have every expectation that we're going to beat market expectations.
Where do you think you'll be?
I'm not going to play the numbers game.
Questions that exclude the candidate from the answer.
So who represents more change? Who represents change in the way that Republican primary voters want?
You mean out of the six of us that were on the stage last night?
But start again with the guys you have to go through.
So here's our question for the anchors whose shows we watch and whose work we admire. Is it possible that these sorts of questions create a self-fulfilling prophecy?